Hello, and welcome to IST 659, Database Admin Concepts and Database Management. My name is Chad Harper, and I'm the professor for this course. I grew up near Rochester, New York, not far from Syracuse, and went to Finger Lakes Community College for my associates, and then I transferred to Oswego State University and majored in information science. So I've been working with databases for approximately 20 years by now, and doing a lot of work in that field. After graduating my undergrad, I began my meteoric rise to the middle, where I worked as operations and IT management for quite a while, working specifically with software development and database development, working with users to answer questions about their organizations and things like that. I decided after a lengthy stay in industry that my calling was not so much to work in a corporate and industrial setting, and work more in an academic type setting. So I went back to school, got my master's in library and information science from the iSchool, actually. I've actually taken this course before. It was actually the third time I had to take this course, but that's okay. I got to do some pretty cool things, and I hope you will too. And so it's really an honor for me to record this for you and ultimately hopefully teach you, because this is the reason I came back to school, to teach this class. So this is an exciting thing for me, and I'm really looking forward to working with you on this. So our objective in this course, it's a little bit about this course, we're going to really be thinking about how we're managing all of this data that we're collecting. We keep collecting data every day. We find new data that we want to collect. We need a place to put it. We need a place to store it, and we need that storage to be organized. So throughout this course, we're going to cover all kinds of topics. We're going to cover security. We're going to do some programming. There's going to be some pirates and fencing and true love and no. Okay, maybe not those things, but we're definitely going to cover a lot of technical ground and a lot of conceptual things that are going to enable us to more effectively manage our data. And one thing you'll find when you look at a systems analysis process, you'll find that those processes are top-down. Our database development process is actually a bottom-up. We're starting at the disk when we do our development, and we're working our way up to that view into our data and all of that. So hopefully your takeaway from this is, as you go forward, even if you choose not to work in databases directly in the future, you will have tools in your toolbox that you can use to effectively model information as it comes to you, to be able to break it apart and put it back together in more meaningful ways. And we're going to use a SQL Server in this course, but a lot of the skills from programming and conceptual designs that you learn are translatable to other database management systems. And they're very useful in looking at data that we're collecting. Maybe when you go to make a spreadsheet to keep track of things, you'll do it a little differently as a result of this course. To be successful in this class, you're going to want to make sure that each week you're getting the material that's going through, and you're working through the labs, and you're constantly working on your project. All of the units work together and build on one another. So if you're missing or not quite getting a piece of any of the modules, then you're going to want to be sure that you're communicating with your instructor, bend their ear, get them to understand that you're not understanding, and have those conversations. Also, look to your classmates. Some folks you'll find are going to be very good at the programming aspects, but maybe they're not doing so well with some of the conceptual aspects. Some folks are the other way around. I tend to see that some people do well in one aspect and some do well in another. So make sure that make sure that you're constantly in communication. There's a lot of intensive activity going on here. And hopefully by the end of it, the takeaway is, even if you're not working in databases, even if you have no desire to ever code in SQL again or anything like that, you still have those skills. You still have transferable skills that will help you with managing data. So the next time you build a spreadsheet, the next time you start collecting data from somebody else, or you're presented with a bunch of information, you now have the skills to tear it all apart and put it all back together again in meaningful ways. And so you're not locked down to just using SQL to do that. These are fundamental data concepts that you're going to need in other aspects of information management. So I'm really looking forward to working with you all, and here's to a successful course.